Wait. You're live. Hello.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Rob and Mariya show. Mariya is going to be getting out of here real quick because she has to do something like a job, which is really annoying.
Okay, bye.
Who wants to do the job thing? So, in her stead today is Joanne Healy, aka Johan, that I like to call her. And we are so excited to have Rick Wyburl. Okay, so I knew I would screw that up. And he is with a group called Legacy Hydroponics. And Rick, it's great to have you here. And I think an obvious question first is, for people who don't know, what is hydroponics?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. And secondly, hydroponics is a form of growing that uses water instead of dirt. So you're growing it, your method is your water. The roots sit in water, or water flows over the roots. There's many different kinds of hydroponics, but that is really the big difference. It's how they're fed.
Okay. How'd you get involved in this?
In 2015, I was watching Tiny House Nation on TV, and they brought a hydroponic system in. So they were living off the grid and growing their food off grid, and I was just really interested in the hydroponic system. So I started studying it, and I built my first system in the garage, filled my basement up with it, and then eventually bought a farm in Waterford and put some greenhouses up, and now we grow bigger and better things.
So is hydroponics, are the vegetables better? Fruits and vegetables, are they better, more healthy? What's the...
Well, let me first say you can't grow everything hydroponic. I've tried, but it just makes sense to use it for certain things. So we grow strawberries, peppers, tomatoes, lettuce, green leafy things. And people call it organic, but it's not certified organic. So people know that it's a much better, it's just better for you. It's not grown in dirt, there's no chemicals or pesticides.
That's what I was thinking, the pesticides and all of that.
We use NPK, the standard nutrients. You could literally take a spoonful of nutrients and eat them and you wouldn't be hurt.
Wow.
All right.
And any insects that we get, like spider mites or things like that, we use what's called neem oil, which is an organic, or a raspberry spray made from like essential oils, and that takes care of that. So we're not using pesticides, we're not killing weeds, we're not...
That's great,
And we control the environment, so we have the optimal light, the optimal airflow. There's a lot of technology involved in hydroponics.
Now, people with disabilities watching this show, they may think, well, what does this have to do with the disability community? I mean, hydroponics, that's interesting, but what's that have to do with me? So what does it have to do?
Well, for the last 2 years, we've been studying the food market, and the fresh food market, to be exact. And what we found was there are food deserts throughout Erie County, Pennsylvania. And a food desert, I'll define that because I was confused in the beginning. A food desert is not just the geographic distance between you, the consumer, and the fresh food. It also has to do with your ability to get to there. It has to do with the income or what resources you have to purchase those fresh foods. And so on. So we created a program called Legacy Pathways, which is bridging the gap between the consumer and the fresh foods.
I remember living in Tullio Towers downtown, and this has been an issue ever since I moved to Erie. I mean, it's like there's 43 bars, but you can't get a good old-fashioned grocery store where you can go and buy vegetables, fruits, whatever.
Right.
So to follow up what you just said, how do you do that?
Well,
How do you
let
close
me
the
back
gap?
up. I want to add just a few more things to
Sure,
what you
sure.
just said.
Okay.
Society has made it easier for you to go out and buy a cheeseburger
Yeah,
than to have access to fresh foods. And there's a lot of reasons why we need those fresh foods. And I'll give you an example downtown. I'm just going to use 6th and State Street as an example.
right,
It's 3.8 miles from there to Walmart, which would be on Broad Street, Buffalo Road.
yeah,
And most of the people that live in, like the towers that you were just talking about, or some percentage, I won't say most, but some percentage, they don't have vehicles. They don't have access to easily get to
right,
Broad
very
Street.
few, do they rely on the lift or whatever?
Yeah, or bus
Yeah,
system,
sure.
a lot of them are in wheelchairs or
Yeah.
scooters, and it makes it very difficult for them to get to the fresh food.
Sure,
Much easier to go to Dollar General and buy something you throw in the microwave.
that's right,
Which is not what they
Garbage,
really need.
yeah.
They need healthy alternatives, healthy food.
okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So how are you going to close the gap? We can talk about what you have here in front of me. It's called a proposed strategic partnership between you and Community Resources for Independence, which sounds very exciting.
Thank you.
So you would like to get more into what this is exactly?
Okay. So again, we're addressing the issue, which is the food desert, or more importantly, having access to fresh food. And so the partnership or the alignment, I'll just kind of sum it up in a paragraph if I could,
Sure.
is we as Legacy, we're going to be available to provide the food that we grow and or buy as well. I couldn't grow everything, there's not enough time in a day.
Right, exactly.
But we're going to make sure that it's sourced from a good place that doesn't use chemicals and stuff like that. The other side, so we're going to make ourselves available, and we're going to make it easy for people to have access to this program. Okay. Your CRI or Community Resources side is going to be informing the consumer that this is available. And
Okay.
together, we're going to educate, we're going to keep track of the information that we're gathering over the course of this relationship. We're going to prove to society that, this is a better approach.
Right.
And that we're going to help people, and we're going to make it easy for them to get fresh food.
Okay.
That summarizes the partnership, I
Yeah,
believe.
I'm very excited. So CRI basically is going to make it accessible here at our location,
Yes.
3410 West 12th Street. So Rick, you will be setting up in our parking lot on a
Right.
specific day to be announced, and we'll provide that information.
Well, I think I can go ahead and say Tuesdays.
Okay, so possibly
All right.
Tuesday.
And
Okay.
tentatively, we'll
So
just say,
you would be available here at this location?
Yes.
For consumers that we serve to sign up to order.
And we'd like the
order
neighborhood
food
to come
And the
over.
neighborhood,
Mhm.
so it's almost like a community
that's right,
location,
that's right.
which I love.
Thank you.
So that will make it accessible to either order ahead of time, provide that food here to pick up at this location.
That is correct.
Or they can buy the day of, just to come and say, hey, what do you got today?
That is correct.
And, oh, I like this zucchini, I'm gonna take that.
I couldn't have said it better myself, thank you.
Exactly. So, and how could they pay, how is it paid?
So we've gone through all the trouble to find out about accepting food stamps.
Wonderful.
I think they call them SNAP benefits.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Pennsylvania Farmers Market voucher.
Okay.
We do accept credit card, debit card, cash. The only thing that we can't accept at this time is the insurance, the cards that the insurance companies give you back
Oh,
that you
yeah,
can use for
yeah,
for
yeah.
food.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, we can't accept that.
That's
There-
okay,
There's
yeah.
only 2 places in the,
No,
that are allowed
but
to
cash,
do that.
check, credit
Cash,
card, you
check,
said,
yes,
okay.
everything else.
And
Awesome.
another important thing is you also have a delivery feature too, right?
We're just about ready to launch that. I don't want to give a date yet because then I'll miss the date, so
Sure,
I'm just gonna
sure.
leave it open.
Okay.
You're
People,
working on it.
yes, we're working on it, and people will be able to go to legacyhydro.com,
All right.
and they'll be able to order whatever produce they want, and then there'll be certain days that will be in certain areas to deliver. We'll deliver
Okay.
right to their homes.
How wide a range do you predict will it be all over Erie? Will it be beyond Erie? What do you think?
To start out with, we're gonna be 10 miles from a radius, 10-mile radius from wherever we're set up. For example, Mondays is downtown Erie, so we'll call it 6th and State Street.
Okay.
A 10-mile radius from 6th and State Street will be Monday's delivery schedule. Tuesdays will be a 10-mile radius from this location,
Right.
and so forth.
Okay. Will there be other outposts or places beyond aside from CRI?
Yeah, we have relationships with several places. What's that?
You can name.
Oh, okay, so Mondays we are at the Boston Store Apartments
Oh,
from
great.
9 a.m. until noon, and then we're at Richford Arms from 1 until 3.
Okay.
On Tuesdays, 10 to 2, we'll be here at CRI, which the address is,
3410 West 12th.
Right.
okay? Wednesdays, we are at Mercy Hilltop Center on East 38th and Pennsylvania Avenue from 9:30 to 1:30. And then from 2:30 to 4:30, we're at Grandview Manor, which is on 42nd and Davison Avenue.
Okay.
On Thursdays, we're located on West 6th and West 8th Street, where Waldemere back entrance is.
Right.
There's a parking lot right there, we're set up there, just to make it convenient for the people in that area. And then on Fridays, we're at the farm, so
Okay.
we're at the farm, so 10-mile radius from there. So we've covered just about every area
Yeah. That's
within
good.
Erie County,
That's awesome.
with the exception of maybe some of the rural areas in the far west and
Yeah.
far east.
Okay. Okay. Now, if someone out there wants to, because you kind of went through the schedule pretty fast, but if somebody wants to get the dates and locations, a schedule printout, do they email you, Joanne?
Yeah, I could provide that, and Rick, you can provide me those locations for
yes.
dates.
Mhm.
Obviously, we would promote our location
Sure.
and times, for here, and the order form, I would
Yes.
take it, you could give it to me.
Yes,
And we can distribute that for anyone who wants one, but, also to our CRI consumers, most importantly, and then they could fill it out for pre-orders or let you know the date of the.
That's great.
actual.
Yeah. Why don't you give everyone your email address?
Yes, it would be J Healy, Healy, at crinet.org. So that's J Healy, Healy, at crinet.org.
Rick, I remember when I was living downtown, down in Perry Square, there was a guy who would set up in the summertime with fruits, vegetables, you name it. Do you know this person?
I couldn't say.
Okay.
I know that I've been setting up downtown in Perry Square for the
Okay.
last 6 years, and on Sundays from 10
Oh.
to 2. However, this year it's not, so people are very excited that I'm gonna be at the downtown locations on Monday because they're not able to get to us on Sunday anymore.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, for whatever reason, that market is not happening.
Okay.
We are Saturdays, by the way,
Oh.
at Frontier Park. It's
Awesome.
called a Leaf Market.
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
I'd love to see some folks, stop down there.
Sure,
There's a
sure.
lot, there's about 45 vendors.
Wow.
There, 2 or 3 of which are farmers markets.
that's a question.
When is
So
that?
let's say I sent them out, let's say Rob wanted some fruits and vegetables,
Yeah.
and is it fruit as well?
Yes.
Okay. So he would fill out the form,
Mhm.
let's say I provided, he sent it to me, I get it to you, he wants to pick it up at Frontier Park, could he do that?
Just gotta let me know
So
and,
it's
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
reversible for any location?
any location,
Okay,
yeah.
just wanted.
We're trying, that's the whole goal here,
Okay,
is to make it as easy as possible
accessible
for the
as
consumer,
possible.
yes.
Yeah,
You were saying 45 vendors. When is this event?
It's every other Saturday, so the next one is going to be this coming, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. I believe that date is the 28th.
mhm.
Yeah.
Don't quote me, but I think it's the 28th.
No,
And
it's
then it'll-
actually the 29th.
29th,
Yeah.
so every other Saturday, so 29th, and then it'll 2 weeks later, and then 2 weeks later, until like the middle of
And you
September.
said that's called the what, leaf?
Leaf Market,
Yeah.
What's the
LEAF market.
time period?
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It's cool.
And so with all those locations, I think we've covered just about every geographic area, with the exception of far west or far east, northeast, Corey,
Gerard or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm working with Adagio Health, and they have a program that's supported by the USDA, I believe, that allows them to go to senior centers through GCAC.
Oh, wow.
And
that's neat.
I provide them with resources as well, and they'll set up at the senior centers or these outposts that they have to do pretty much the same thing we're trying to do under a different name.
Now, some people might wonder, okay, how does the cost compare to my going to Giant Eagle and buying lettuce or cucumbers or whatever?
Well, like anything, our pricing is not gonna compare to Walmart or, I forget the other place.
Giant Eagle.
Not Giant Eagle, but there's a place on it doesn't matter. We're not gonna be,
Wegmans or whatever.
yeah, we're not gonna be the cheapest.
Okay.
But the first thing you gotta remember is it's gonna be better for you.
Yes,
Secondly, there is a convenience to this. There's a lot of logistics that go behind this.
of course.
And of course, I'm not a Walmart or,
Where you can buy bulk.
yeah, where I can buy,
Right.
225
Sure.
semi-loads
Well,
a day.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Not yet.
just like if you went to Country Fair and bought a bottle of pop, or 2-liter bottle of pop,
Right.
it's usually gonna be 50% more.
Right.
I'm not saying that's my pricing. I think I'm in line. I think that for what the convenience fee, the factor, not fee, convenience
Absolutely,
factor.
that's huge.
Yeah,
Of course
that's
it is.
really what
Yeah.
it means. Now, is everybody happy with my pricing all the time? No. And they have the option to do however they want to handle
Of
that.
course.
But for the convenience and for what we're trying to do, I believe the prices are in line.
Yeah, you have to measure quality too, and not everyone does that.
Right.
Some people think, well, I don't care how healthy it is for me. If it's cheaper over here, I'll get it there.
Right.
You're always gonna have those people.
That's gonna
But
happen.
that's fine. Oh, before we get you out of here, Rick,
Yes.
you wanted to promote this book, I guess it's called Hydroponic Farming, A Personal Journey to Sustainable Living. And what's that all about?
So it's really a compilation of the last 6 years of my life, where I put together a book, which is for sale. I have a pen name, but it's for sale. Again, Hydroponic Farming, A Personal Journey to Sustainable Living. It's available at Amazon.
Okay,
But I wanted to make it available to anyone from CRI
Okay.
or anyone watching this podcast today.
sure.
If they email,
Same email.
Same
And if you
email.
want a copy of this book, Rick has graciously provided a electronic copy for us, so I'd be glad to send that out to you as well.
And that is J Healy, Jehealy,
At
at
CRI.
CRInet.org.
Okay.
and what I'd like to do just real quick, so I just do a brief introduction to hydroponics, like we did in the beginning of the show. The basics of hydroponic farming, setting up your hydroponic farm, choosing the plants for your hydroponic farm, daily maintenance and care, harvesting your crops, the personal growth journey, which for me as a disabled veteran, working with the plants has been very calming for me. And I could see, how it could help.
Therapeutic,
It's
yeah.
very therapeutic.
Very,
and-
Sure.
Yeah.
And I know one of my granddaughters has attention deficit disorder, ADD.
Yeah.
And she comes in and works in my strawberry department, and she's totally calm. I don't know if that's because she's picking two and eating one, I don't know. But anyway, so the personal growth, and everyone's gonna have their own story to tell
Of
after they
course,
go through this,
yeah.
but it's just it's a short read and somewhat educational.
Very good.
If somebody wanted to get involved in this as like a business, what would be the initial investment to start your own hydroponic farm?
That's a loaded question.
All right.
When I started out, I think that I spent $39.
Wow.
I bought some PVC pipe and a
Okay.
small pump. And that's how I started. I drilled holes, 1.5 inch holes, and I planted seeds in a napkin
Mhm.
and got them wet, and 2 weeks later they were little sprouts, and then I put them into into these pipes, to grow, and then they became big, beautiful heads of lettuce, which I then
Wow.
ate. So yeah, all the way to what I do, which is, let's just say that it's in the 7 digits to put our farm together.
Okay.
The land, the farm, the equipment,
Yeah.
Well,
everything.
sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can take, now, people have asked me, and you led me down this road, so I'm gonna give you a little extra here.
Okay.
Why aren't the traditional dirt farmers switching to hydroponics? And that's a
Okay.
very good question, and
That is a
I would
good
encourage
question.
people to do a search on Google. The title will be The Future of Agriculture. And it's a story about the food deficit in 2050
Right.
and what is gonna take place to get there.
Right.
And what people are, like me, are trying to do to change that possibility, okay? So there's a lot of companies out there, research hydroponics, it's healthier, but it's not easier. So these dirt farmers would have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to switch their growing process now to this more technology-driven, hydroponics. So they're not gonna do that. They're of an age where they just wanna, keep going. So it's gonna take people like me and these young entrepreneurs that you're talking about earlier to get involved.
But if somebody just wants to do it just to grow vegetables or fruits, it sounds like, right, it sounds like it wouldn't cost very much to get that going.
No, a few $100s at the most, and they could grow. The lighting, it's just, you have to learn, you have to
Sure.
understand the lighting,
There's a
the
process.
nutrients, and,
Yeah.
the process, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, Rick, I think we would love to have you back on a future podcast
My
just to
pleasure.
see a follow-up on how this whole thing is going,
Yeah.
especially with CRI
Yeah.
and the number of people that are taking advantage of this program. So this would be great.
Yeah.
I'd like to share something just real quick, actually, if you don't mind me pulling my phone out.
Go ahead.
I got an email, or a text, from Katie at Grandview Manor, and Katie had run the first 5-week numbers of how we've impacted the consumer at her location.
All right.
And the 5-week totals, we have provided resources to 134 residents,
Wow.
10 staff members, 7 people from the community, and 14 advanced orders.
I love it.
So we're reaching,
Yeah.
and we
That's
plan
great.
to take from every location that we're at and provide a 6 to 8 week report every 6 to 8 weeks. And FYI, we want to continue this throughout the whole year, not just in the summer.
Right, right.
Of course, I'm not going to be set up outside,
Right,
but
a little bit
maybe-
harder to do.
yeah, maybe inside
Come
or
on,
more
suck it
delivery.
You know what?
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me share that, and I would look forward to coming back and seeing you again.
Yeah, this is exciting, exciting. So.
It is, it's very exciting, and Rick,
And thank you.
You've been great all along.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Rick's a
bet.
really good guy too, that's a bonus. So I'm really excited that we are partnering to offer this program, at our location and for the community. And as Rick said, this is not only healthy, it's accessibility, to provide, fruits and vegetables, for, to be able to get that to you, quickly and efficiently. And we hope delivered too someday.
It's coming.
So-
It's coming,
So
so,
you're creating an oasis in the food desert,
exactly.
That's correct.
basically.
That is
Okay.
correct.
All right.
My friend Faith from the Oasis Market would love to hear that.
Okay, there you go. All right, well, thank you, folks. This has been great, and we will see you next time on the Rob and Mariya Show. Mariya will be back, despite Joanne's attempts to infiltrate this show.
Right, I'm taking
Mariya
over.
is coming back. So we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Thank you.